Council on September 30th, 2024. We'll call the meeting to order, and to begin, we'll call your attention to the Open Meetings Act posted here in the council chambers. If you now please join me in rising for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Granquist.
Here.
Arns.
Here.
Webb.
Here.
McCarthy.
Here.
Buren.
Here.
Storton.
Here.
Clausen.
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Okay, with that, I would look to item number 5 on the council agenda, approval of the consent agenda. Would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Motion second. If no discussion, please vote.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, would then look for a motion to approve the full agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the full agenda. Second.
Motion second to approve the full agenda. If no discussion, please vote.
All council members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
Okay, that takes us to item number 8 under the regular agenda, which is a discussion regarding legal strategy and/or legal advice with and from outside legal counsel regarding imminent litigation pertaining to police department personnel matters. Any comments from our city attorney or HR director before we open up? Okay, all right, thank you. We would be looking here to move into a closed session, but as I understand, there will be a motion in that regard to go into closed session. Before I entertain that motion, I would welcome members of the council to comment generally, as well as members of the public who wish to make any comments to come to the podium at this time with a 5-minute time limit. And all of this is with the understanding that because this is a matter of city personnel currently under investigation, elected officials and city staff will be referring any specific questions or comments to our outside legal counsel. So at this time, would welcome any comment.
Just put my name down here.
Yes, please.
Okay. Hi, I am Chris Bauermeister. I am currently married to Josh Bauermeister, so thank you for this time to speak, and I will be brief. Sitting before you today, as I'm sure you are aware, is an issue that affects 3 family men. All are married, all have been for multiple years. All of them have children. These are lives that you are affecting by making a decision. So I do ask you to please heartfully make that decision. One of the things that I've learned in being married to a police officer for over 20 years is that there's a lot of good, there's a lot of bad, and there's a lot of ugly in our world. And every day I send him off, puts on his vest, he puts on his badge, and I hope for the best. I do know that he looks for the good in the world in everything that he does as a police officer. Just Friday night, I attended an off-Broadway showing of Dear Evan Hansen, and the opening lines between Evan and his friend included curse words. And I do know that that is some of the issue that has been brought forth. Now, this is a show that was not rated R. It was a family-friendly show. Maybe you're familiar with the play and maybe you are not. But right or wrong, it was a true depiction of how we talk amongst friends. We talk differently amongst friends than we do when we are actually working. You know that, and I know that. I teach teenagers on a daily basis, and I frequently tell them they would not talk the same way to their friends that they would talk to their grandparents. They would not talk the same way in the locker room as what they would talk when they are in classrooms. We all know this. I know for a fact the professionalism that the police officers in question have. I also know them on a personal basis as well. Please be mindful as you have your discussions. I'd like you to remember that there are always two sides to every story. And I also would like you to remember that there sometimes is more to the story than what is being depicted. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Chris.
My name is Annette Lohman, and I am coming here to actually just show support for all three. I have cousins, nephews, friends, family, and acquaintances in law enforcement, not only here, but in other cities, so I've also reached out to them. I was just wanted to say, here we have put 3 men on leave from the Norfolk PD who have been committed to serve and protect our community for 34 plus years, 20 plus years, and 27 plus years. So I guess my question is now why, if there's something that happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago, why is that coming to light now? Someone gets to put an anonymous letter in the paper, I guess if you can take much stock in that, and then that's what the public has to form their opinion on. I guess I feel like there are 2 sides to every story, and our city is so big on transparency. Everybody running for any opening has that word in there, so I guess I'd like to see some of that because we'd also like to hear the other side of the story. You know, is the investigation fair for both sides? You know, I'm sure that it is, but I just wanted to make that comment. And if there were complaints, did they go through the chain of command? If there are concerns with officers or anybody working with the law enforcement, is there something that you guys offer trainings or continuing ed so that they can help with their personal and professional growth? I would think as a PD officer, you know, I'm not sure the order, corporal, sergeant, lieutenant, whatever order it goes in, I would think there'd be a chain of command that you go to. So wherever the problem is coming from, did those people do the chain of command? You know, these are questions I don't know. Because I think if there is a problem and they go through the chain of command, I would think that they're professionals, that they would try and fix the problem. So did it go to the right people or don't know where this all come from, so did it just come out of the blue? And as I said, I do have cousins, brothers, friends, nephews serving on PD. So I did reach out to them and just checked into openings. And Omaha, Grand Island, Fremont, Lincoln, Kearney, everywhere has openings. It's a problem nationwide. Honestly, who would want to be in police enforcement right now? Because it's a problem across the nation. So I did reach out to them and just asked, there's openings in all of those cities. And I just hope that when this is all said and done, that we can hear both sides of the story and that we can make the right decision for these men that have been committed to our community for so many years. Thank you.
Thank you, Annette. Anyone else wishing to comment?
Just one other thing. The only reason I knew about this meeting is I saw it on KCAU News, and a friend forwarded it to me, so I'm like, oh, what's going on? Or can we really go or not? So I did call the Daily News, and they didn't have it as an open meeting. So I guess I'm wondering who puts out, you know, the news releases or whatever, because they did reach out and said, I think it is open to the public, but they weren't sure. So I feel like people also really didn't know about this meeting unless you happened to see it on KCAU News TV.
There is a process, a legal process for noticing these meetings, and
Okay.
it followed all the usual protocols for
Okay,
that.
thank you.
My name is Doug Lohman. I am currently an employee with the Department of Transportation here in Norfolk as a project manager. I guess my biggest question in all this is a due process. All I know is working for the state 34 plus years, when something like this would arise, there's a process you go through. Allegations are taken into consideration, but they're not considered to be gold. They're checked into. There is no action taken until things are checked out. With that in mind there is a process we go through where the allegations can be brought forth. It goes through the chain of command, and then it's handled from there. At no ever is there an immediate action taken place until all the facts are looked into. I guess from what I hear, and a lot of it is hearsay, I don't feel like this is the process, that somebody has some allegations and then all of a sudden there's an action taken without these allegations really being checked into completely. Now, I don't know if that's not the case. Maybe there was an ongoing investigation prior to this. But with our process, and I'm not saying it's a perfect one by any means, but everybody's given their due day to present their case, and then it's handled from there. To completely turn several people's lives upside down without seems to be an investigation into the allegations and whose allegation, is there been any character reference brought forth on these people? Don't know. But seems to me that's not quite right, being a fair and transparent system. Now, what I do ask is, what is the city's system for this? I make an allegation against somebody, my word is gold. Whoever that's against all of a sudden is reprimanded or put on leave. I don't know. I just know through the state that's not the way it works until everything is presented forth for it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. I will generally comment that there is a process involved, and we are working through that process right now. And outside legal counsel has been brought on to help us walk through that process, and they're here today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to make comment? Okay, thank you. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for the protection of the public interest to discuss litigation which is imminent as evidenced by communication of a claim or threat of litigation to the public body.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Okay, motion and second to go into closed session. If no discussion, please vote.
All council members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
Okay, so the motion has carried. Again, this is a closed session for the sole purpose of discussing litigation which is imminent as evidenced by communication of a claim or threat of litigation to the public body. Thank you.